A company called Remocam reached out to me recently and asked if I'd be interested in checking out their wireless security camera, and it sounds really cool. Because in addition to being a wireless security camera, you see here it also has smart home compatibility. Now I don't know exactly how smart home that's going to actually be. I think the main sort of smart home compatibility it has is that it can do IR blaster stuff. So if you have something that is IR controlled, like your TV, basically anything that has a remote that's not a Wi-Fi remote, you should be able to control it using this. But it has HD resolution. If I remember correctly, it's 720p, not 1080p. Can do local recording, which I'm absolutely a fan of, but you do have cloud recording as an option if you do want it. Night vision, gotta love that. So let's open the box. FCC statement, quick start guide. It mentions an app and creating an account, lots of foam, charging brick with barrel connector, mentions 5 volts at 2 amps output. And this, I have to say, is actually a little bigger than I anticipated it would be. And the contrast is not my friend, so we will do this just like that. So looking at the camera itself, it does have this sort of ball on top that is the camera. It should do pan and tilt. You can see it's got this sort of area here to be able to, I don't want to do that because when I move it, it actually does have sort of a motorized feel to it. Down here at the bottom though, you do have your barrel connector plug, 5 volts at 2 amps, micro SD card slot, line in if you wanted to do an external microphone, line out in case you want to have speakers for it. That's super cool. And it looks like these might actually be built-in speakers on the sides, and I would assume status light and possibly even microphone here on the front. There's your night vision array. On the bottom you have a reset button, as well as product name, manufacturer, model adapter, stuff like that. And you know what? I think at this point, probably best to go ahead and get it hooked up and see how it works. Okay, I've gone ahead and set up the Remocam app. So let's get that open. Now it did ask me when I first set it up if I wanted to set up a camera. I didn't have it plugged in at the time, so I didn't. And so it is saying that there's no cameras found. We'll hit OK on that. And at this point, we'll go ahead and plug in the Remocam.
Welcome to Remocam.
Apparently it's Remocam instead of Remocam. And I would have expected it to say something else, but it has not. So let's go ahead and hit the plus button inside of the app. It says connect your phone to Wi-Fi. So we'll hit next. It had me put my password in for my Wi-Fi, and it says hold your phone screen in front of Remocam about 5 to 12 inches away. Wait for it to say recognize the QR code. I was reading that backward. It says hold the screen, so the actual QR code that it's showing me in front of Remocam.
Recognize the QR code.
And it says Remocam is working hard to connect to the server. This may take a few minutes. Do not close the app, just so you can see that.
Registered Remocam successfully. Please wait for a few seconds before monitoring.
It's interesting that it makes those noises, reminiscent of an old telephone if you have not used one in a long time. But the app itself does look like it's registered something. We'll go ahead and hit the button. It said something about mobile carrier charging you for doing it over LTE, but I can see my hand. It's delayed, but there it is. There's my hand. Now you can see me looking around to other areas in the room. I'm actually physically moving the camera, but it's working. That's good. That's a plus. There's some interesting buttons here. There's an emergency call, which we are not going to do. There's a siren button. There's a take a picture and record video, and also speak and listen. So I would assume if I do this, there's an echo, but it does work. And if I hit listen, I should be able to listen on my phone. And I can hear it coming through the phone right now. Yeah, you can totally hear me talking. Awesome. And as far as take picture, let's see. Let's also test while we're in here. There's a pan up and down button. Ah, nice. Wow, that goes really high. That goes straight up. Then you can go down. You can go down pretty low too. So let's be fancy about this. We're gonna hit take a picture. There you go. It says save to your phone, because I don't have a micro SD card in here at the moment. We'll even hit record video, and it does say you can record up to 5 minutes. And I can only assume that it's recording to my phone at the moment, but I'm giving it a good shot. I want to see if this works. I want to see how this looks, all of that fun stuff. And it does say you can record up to 5 minutes. And I can only assume that it's recording to my phone at the moment, but I'm giving it a good shot. I want to see if this works. I want to see how this looks, all that fun stuff. And it does after I finished, say, saving to your phone. And then also, in addition to live feed, you have a remote option. This gets back to why this was extremely interesting to me. If I hit add device, I can say TV. And the interesting thing, if I say TV, it gives me 3 options: LG, Samsung, and Sony. I don't have that TV. So I'm gonna hit add. It says name your device, Seiki TV. There you go, Seiki TV. That's the TV that I've got here in my office. And it says face Remocam toward the device. Now it is facing toward the TV. The sensor is actually right here in the corner of it. Hit next. It says add a command. Add, name the command, power, point your device's remote at the Remocam. So yeah, it took just a few seconds to add in a couple of commands. So I can pick Seiki TV now. I added in power, volume up, and volume down. I apparently spelled down wrong. Let's just see if they work. And you won't be able to see this because you're looking through the app through the remote, through the, everything else. But you may be able to see on the screen there, right there, it actually is taking the TV up and down. If I hit power, hopefully, well, the power button is not working. And that actually appeared to work. I had to actually go back and reprogram the power button into it, but it did turn the TV off appropriately. But I just hit the power button again, and here in just a second, the TV's going to come on. It's actually the TV taking time to come on, but you can see it says Seiki there now. So that's very cool. Let's move on to something else. This is taking entirely too long. Now, the other thing that Remocam sent me was the light bulb you can see over there in the corner that's changing colors. It's actually an LED light bulb that changes color based upon this little remote, this little infrared remote. So I went ahead and typed in bulb, and it's connecting to the camera. It says face Remocam toward the device. It already is. And it says add a command. It's now picked up 2 commands in the app. That light is very weird in the background. So just to start off with, we'll use those 2 commands. There are so many others in here, but you'd have to add them all manually. But at this point, I do have the app. I do have 2 buttons in it, one that says on, one that says off. Did a little bit of tweaking with it, moved it around a little bit, and it appears to be working appropriately now. Had to actually take the commands out, put them back in, and I actually aimed the Remocam just a little bit better. So now if I hit the off button, the light turns off. Hit the on button, light turns on. Success. And basically this should work with any device that does infrared. As long as you have a remote for it and you can point it at this and say go, it will take advantage of whatever button push you give it and whatever name you give that command and then make that thing happen. Now you do have to make sure you're pointing at it. So for example, I'm not pointing at the TV right now. So if I hit power on the remote, the TV is going to stay on. You can't see that right now, but just saying. If I were to point away from the light bulb, I'm just going to point the camera toward myself. So the light bulb is not in vision of it. If I hit off, the bulb stays on. Yeah, I did a weird thing just a minute ago where it decided it was going to spin back around over to where the light bulb is. And I think maybe it's supposed to do that. Yeah, it just did it on its own. So I'm guessing when you actually put the devices in here, it registers wherever it is, wherever it's pointing at it. So the idea would be not to move the camera around, obviously, would be to stick it on a shelf, on a table or something, where it can see everything that's infrared controlled in the room. And then whenever you want to make a change to it, you select it within the app, you hit go, and it makes that happen. I think that is super cool. That is amazing. Now this does also have the option to save to a micro SD card. You can see there in the app, there's the option to save to the cloud, save to micro SD, and also offer push notifications. You can do things like motion tracking and alerts. Actually, let me go ahead and stick a micro SD card in there and we'll see what it does. And apparently that did something, because literally as soon as I put it in there, I saw the app say 1 moment, which means something has happened. We're gonna go ahead and reconnect to the camera. So now in theory, if I hit record video, it says you can record up to 5 minutes. I'm curious if it's recording to the phone or to the micro SD card now. It says you can record up to 5 minutes. I'm curious if it's recording to the phone or to the micro SD card. We say motion sensor, we'll say save to SD card, and it says processing. It's figuring it out, but it did appear to work. So now it should be motion sensing. We'll come back into the app and see if it saves anything to the SD card when it senses motion. It did give me a notification, so in theory it is recording potentially up to 20 seconds of video, I guess. So in theory it is recording potentially up to 20 seconds of video, I guess. But it does say record to 20 seconds, 10 seconds before and after the event. But it does say record to 20 seconds, 10 seconds before and after the event. And a very quick look, it actually recorded it. And I was able to take the micro SD card out right after it finished, and it's got the video on there. However, it does say on there that it is 750 kilobits per second. It's 720p video, which was expected, and it's 9 frames per second. So that leaves a little to be desired. Now obviously that could partially have to do with the speed of my memory card, although I don't think that one's terribly slow. That could also have something to do with the camera itself. It could have, I mean, it's probably not the lighting. The lighting in here is pretty decent. So it's not gonna be hugely high quality, but just looking at the video, it doesn't look bad. I mean, you'll obviously have seen it by now. The video doesn't look bad. I mean, it's in very good lighting, so it's not gonna look terrible anyway. Yeah, that's not bad at all, really. It's very low bit rate and it's 720p, but I think it gets the job done as far as using it as a camera. What I really like about it though is that it can do multiple things. It can do traditional security camera stuff. It has a really interesting look and design, plus it can act as an IR blaster. So technically you can put it in a room, and when you're anywhere else in the world, as long as you have access to the Remocam stuff, you can reach out and turn on your TV, or turn on your IR controlled lights, or anything else like that you want to control. So I think that's really cool. I will put a link down in the video description to where you can find one of these for your very own, if you're interested in it. Thank you so much to Remocam for sending this out to me for a review. Thanks to you guys for watching. Remember, leave a thumbs up below this video if you like this video. Subscribe to receive all of my videos when they become available, and we'll see you again next time.